Abigail Breslin, who you might know from films like Zombieland and the show Scream Queens, is currently at the center of a legal battle after accusing her latest co-star Aaron Eckhart of aggressive, demeaning, and unprofessional behavior on the set of their upcoming project, Classified. This is all according to a complaint filed by producers of the film. Dream Team Studios and WM Holdings are claiming that Breslin made wild, hysterical, and imaginary allegations against Eckhart. Accusations which forced the production to spend $80 grand on accommodations alone. In order for the production to continue, Breslin refused to be alone in several scenes with Aaron. Costly accommodations had to be made by the production to meet Breslin's demands, or she would not continue to perform her contractual obligations. In a statement obtained by People, a representative for Breslin, Michelle Bega, said that the actress is not currently aware of any actions filed against her and has not been served with any legal notices. Breslin categorically denies contended allegations against her and unequivocally stands by her statement, according to the lady, which she confidently provided to the Screen Actors Guild. According to the lawsuit, an investigation by an on-set producer referred to as Mr. Georgie found no evidence in support of Breslin's claims. The entire production almost ground to a halt when Abigail advised the producers of Eckhart's aggressive, demeaning, and unprofessional behavior, which she insisted placed her at various times in peril. So far, there's not a ton of information on that exact situation, like what did he say or do to make things so crazy. We don't know. What we do know is that this is not the first time that Abigail and Aaron have worked together on a film set. In 2007, Breslin and Eckhart worked together on the set of a film called No Reservations, a romantic comedy starring Aaron Eckhart as the leading man and Catherine Zeta-Jones as his love interest. According to the plot, Aaron and Zeta are the stars, with Breslin acting as Catherine's on-screen niece that her character is forced to take care of. The film sits at a modest 62% approval rate with audiences, but one thing that never happened on the set was Abigail accusing anyone of being mean. Now, to be fair, in 2007, Abigail Breslin would have been like 11. Maybe at that time he was being mean, but she just didn't really realize or care enough to make a big deal out of it. She was also a child actor and not the star of that project, so it's not like she could just walk up to a production guy and be like, Aaron's being a mean jerk face. Get it? Because she's short, she has to look up. But now in 2023, as the co-star of the new film Classified, she has a lot of pull. The plot of that film is actually kind of interesting. Aaron plays Evan Shaw, a man who's been solely using the classified section of various newspapers to receive his orders. Suddenly, he learns from his estranged daughter, played by Breslin, that his division has actually been shut down for years. It's actually the first big film for Aaron Eckhart in a while, thanks to his long history of box office duds. Of course, starring in The Dark Knight as Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face, was no small role, and it certainly didn't fly under the radar. He's just one of the many cast and crew that made The Dark Knight one of the best action movies of all time, and the best in the Dark Knight trilogy. However, between A and B, Hollywood gave him so many chances to make a name for himself. Following The Dark Knight in 2008, Aaron struggled to find the right fit despite his newfound fame. He was casted in mainly action movies, usually as the leading man or a secondary lead, and it's almost always never worked out. I do say almost because some of them made a decent bit of money. I personally know Aaron best as Frankenstein's monster in the action thriller I, Frankenstein, which is a film that follows Frankenstein caught in a war between gargoyles and demons. I did not make that up. That is a real movie, and that actually exists, and that plot is true. It has 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I bought it on DVD before seeing it. The most regretful purchase I've ever made in my life, and I own a ShamWow. He did make waves in some projects, starring alongside Tom Hanks in Sully, and of course Gerard Butler and Morgan Freeman in Olympus, London, and Angel Has Fallen. While not always appearing in big blockbuster movies, he has kept busy, starring in low-budget films, straight to streamers, and some horror projects like Incarnate. Eckhart actually claims that his lack of work is because he created a reputation for himself as a difficult man to work with. He once took his frustrations out on an extra on set, saying that he lashed out. He was doing a monologue that he was unsure about performing, and the extra who was paid to be there was falling asleep while he was talking. He said something because, hey, he thought about all the people who were out of work while this person was just napping for 20 bucks an hour. Since then, he has made an effort to be better and do better on set, but according to him, it's been difficult. He knows that he can sometimes be intense and has attempted to maintain his composure better over the years. He also claims to be a bit competitive with fellow actors, which may be a major part of why his reputation is not that great. On the other hand, Abigail Breslin has also been appearing in less and less big budget movies. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with her work, Abigail started acting when she was very young. Her first major speaking role was in the 2002 M. Night Shyamalan thriller Signs alongside Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson when she was only 6. She was casted time and time again, being nominated for several awards, including an Oscar for her role in Little Miss Sunshine, a movie that she made at the age of 10 and where she received an award for Best Young Actress from the Critics' Choice Awards. As she grew up, her roles became few and far between, but she has gotten the chance to work with a ton of A-list celebrities like Halle Berry, Ryan Reynolds, Matt Damon, and of course, Woody Harrelson in Zombieland, which is where I personally know her best from. Go Little Rock. This was not a conscious move on her part. In fact, she has been taking every opportunity she can to work and build her repertoire. She started playing smaller roles in smaller movies and has maintained a steady stream of work outside of mainstream Hollywood, with her last big role being in Zombieland 2: Double Tap. She was in Stillwater and released a film earlier this year called Miranda's Victim, based on a true story, but that film kind of flew under the radar, so you would be forgiven if you didn't know it existed. The accusations currently making waves have honestly had very little impact on Breslin and her career. Now, from what I've been able to research, and it's not a lot, there is no evidence that she has lost jobs or been let go from any projects. Same with Aaron. This is his first role in a couple of years, thanks to, the world closing. So it is still very much up in the air as to what's actually going to happen with their respective careers, and of course this project as a whole. Now that the acting strike has completed and productions will be back in full swing, who knows what the future holds for Abigail? Zombieland 3 would be nice. Breslin has actually been a massive star in the world of feminism and violence awareness. She has been very candid in the past about some of the more difficult personal experience she's had, opening up about a previous toxic relationship in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In a response to one fan who thanked her for sharing her story, Breslin said in October of 2022 that being open and honest was a part of her healing journey. She would not wish for her worst enemy to go through the same things that she did. She thanked people like that fan for their support and kind words. Another fan posted in the comments that someday they hope they can trust someone enough again to try a new relationship, and Breslin told the fan that they would get there. It's difficult to imagine, but it does take time. The man that Abigail was dating caused such a toxic relationship and was not named directly, but she mentioned that she was in the relationship for almost 2 years. In an Instagram post, she shared her story, describing a time when she was naive and, according to herself, taken advantage of by her older partner. This man was a menace, locking her in rooms, being physically violent, to the point where she had to use heavy concealer to hide her scars and bruises while working. The physical injuries were accompanied by a plethora of put-downs, shaming, and harsh verbal mistreatment. In her post, she wrote about how she felt unworthy of anyone's love, or ugly and hated, like she deserved less than dirt. Thankfully, she was able to get out of the relationship due to the support of her family and friends, who were invaluable in their roles of getting her out of this toxic situation. Since that relationship has ended, she has been candid about the post-traumatic stress that she still deals with on a daily basis. She will occasionally have nightmares, and certain things have been known to set her off emotionally. Considering the heavy material that I just went over, there are going to be some links in the description below with information for anybody who feels that they may be in a toxic or dangerous relationship. It's not something you gotta take lightly, and please know that you're not alone and people are out there to help you. Abigail's past may play a big part in her reacting to Aaron Eckhart on set. She's currently engaged and happy to be, but when someone is loud or aggressive in any way, it can be stressful and bring up some terrible feelings. For all we know, Aaron was just being a bit stingy or angry or snappy, and Abigail just felt uncomfortable. That's not an uncommon feeling, especially in the world of Hollywood. So many people have complained about fellow actors and what they've done on set and beyond. Most of the time, those complaints are actually warranted. Let's not forget, there was an entire online movement a few years ago that exposed several Hollywood heavyweights as being truly gross people. I'm actually not allowed to say their names or show their faces because the nature of the situation was so sensitive and it impacted millions of people. The Me Too movement was a pivotal moment in the world of Hollywood. So many people were given a chance to speak their truth and finally be heard. Hollywood actually reacted to firing people left and right and recasting them in the middle of films. In 2023, there are still so many men being exposed as toxic or problematic. This year alone, we saw men like Russell Brand, Jonah Hill, Danny Matheson exposed as toxic people who wish to control their partners, or in Matheson and Brand's case, it's so much worse. Honestly, Jonah Hill looks tame compared to those two. If you want to know anything about those situations, please just go back through our channel, find videos. We got plenty of them. At this moment in time, there is not any information on the lawsuit or how it's going to play out, but when something comes up, I'll let you know. Until then, thank you for watching. If you stuck around to the end, I really appreciate it. You rock. Please let us know you got here by leaving a like down below and following the channel for more celebrity content each and every day if you haven't already. Thanks for stopping beyond the screen, and we'll see you next time.